Welcome to the Crystal Crawford Show. I'm Crystal Crawford, and I invite you to a deep exploration of the tools of access consciousness and a totally different way of being. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to what I believe might be one of the final conversations of this show. My name is Crystal, and this is the Crystal Crawford Show. And this week, I am jumping on to talk about reinventing yourself no matter the season. Clear the fucking calendar. It's probably news that this might be one of the last Crystal Crawford shows, and I know that most endings have a reason to them. Yeah. Most endings have a big story to them, a lead up, and I would say that's true of this one too, but it's not what you think. Where I'd like to start with this conversation is that you have permission to, this is your official permission to reinvent yourself no matter the season. In real time, in the recording of this, it's December 11th, 2023. We're heading into 2024. I do have a class starting tomorrow called Create Your Next Year Now. I have another $14 money series starting on Thursday. I have a intro class on Friday. I've got a money workshop starting Saturday. It's a busy week for classes. You can go to crystaljoycrawford.com/calendar to get involved. But in my life, what's happening is a complete reinvention. And I don't think I've been so clear and cognizant of that until today. I'm not exactly sure what got catalyzed today. There was a couple of things that went on, but the primary catalyzer was I was looking this morning at what I wanted to do the show on. And December historically is a very weird month for me to create. I am choosing from here on, I get to just take December off and really allow myself the pleasure of having a body and being on holidays. But I haven't created my business like that so far, and that is actually a lot of what today's episode is about, and what catalyzed a lot of the choices that I'm going to be making from here moving forward. So before I get into all that, this is your official permission to reinvent yourself no matter the season. You get to ask yourself the hard questions, the deliciously life upending hard questions, no matter what anybody else is choosing. And I mentioned the time because it's Christmas time. Actually, in 3 days is Andres's 50th birthday. We're heading into the new year. I mean, there's a lot going on, and like most people are out there Christmas shopping or not Christmas shopping or fretting about money or spending all their money or going to holiday parties, going to their kids' Christmas pageants, etc. And I am over here reinventing my entire life. So you're welcome to come do that with me. We start tomorrow. But the reason I really wanted to come and talk to you about it, because I really wasn't going to do a show today, was I guess to try to put some words to something that might be going on for you too. I have been aware, probably for the last 2 years, that I wanted a deep, deep change in the way my life functioned. And because I'm in business, my life and my business are very much intertwined. There's no real separation. And just so you know, I very much am going to be speaking to those of us that are out there creating life and business from here on out, because that's where I can speak from. That's what I know. That's what I can contribute to you. So for the last 2 years, it's been very clear to me that the way I created my business from the get-go, which I would say really officially started in 2015, in 2021-22 was no longer serving me in the way that I needed it to. And I get that that started this seeking it started with this pretty intense dissatisfaction with pretty much everything in my life, probably like most things do. I would, if I look back, I definitely started out with just a disgruntled dissatisfaction about the relationship. At the time, Andres and I were really struggling with reactive realities. The reactive reality tools hadn't come out yet. We were in a different country. There was a lot of external things going on for me that could be blamed. And so I did get distracted by that for quite some time. And it was all about how do we get this relationship either functional or over from both our points of view, just so you know, so that we can, both of us, be creative again and like go on creating our life. And that was an ongoing struggle we both had. And it was so crazy because it was crazy making, which all relationship stuff is crazy making, just so you know, unless it's just caring and loving the other person. That's easy. The other stuff's insanity. But, you know, both of us were like, Jesus Christ, we got into this because we, you know, we add to each other's lives. We are greater when we're together. And now we're on the opposite end of that, you know, making things harder for each other. But we were conflicted because both of us could see the possibility of each other. And we were just in this kind of black hole that we couldn't seem to get out of. And it turns out we were trapped in the big 5 elements that keep you trapped. Who knew? My gratitude for access consciousness is never ending. So I say all that to say that 2 years ago, this rumbling started in my world of like, I need a different way of doing my life. And because business and my life are so intertwined, which is, yes, where do I start? You know, where do I start looking at? So I started looking at the relationship. Then what ended up changing there was enormous. Part of that big change was moving ourselves to a country where I spoke the language. So here we are back in the United States again. And that was great. And somewhere in me, I think I thought that was going to be the answer. I didn't say I was bright all the time. And it wasn't. So we've talked a little bit about that. But flipping back again, the other thing that was going on with everything was that my body was hurting. And it started with my wrists. So now my wrists are pretty, they don't ache all the time because I've got different tools. I'm doing more ergonomic stuff, but you can feel them now. And that started after about 4 or 5 years of me doing everything in the business and being on my laptop and doing this movement constantly. And I created achy carpals. And then not long after that was like my back started aching. And now recently it's my neck. So my body is paying the price for my choice to ignore it, not include it, not move it nearly in the way that it needed. To do repeated movements and things that I'm now dealing with the backlog of. And so all of this was happening at the same time, and I knew it. And 2 years ago, I was like, I need a different way of doing business. On top of all that, I was traveling, but I wasn't really enjoying traveling. And I had enjoyed traveling for a long time. That's how this whole business got started. I wanted to travel. I wanted to be able to go anywhere in the world and be able to make money from anywhere. I created that business. Fuck yeah. I mean, startups apparently are the hardest ones, but I did that. So here I am. But what I didn't take into consideration, and why would you, is that during that time and all, I would change. And my body would have different needs. Also, in the last 2 years, it's been changing hormonally with the perimenopause stuff. I got eye surgery. There's a lot of different body things that occurred over the last 2 years. And all of them pointed to, I need to create this business in a different way. Because the way I've created the business so far is still hand to mouth. So I put in energy and stuff comes out, right? Like I put in energy, stuff comes out. I put in new people find me. I put energy, but it is very energy and time intensive to do it the way that I'm doing it. And that worked for me for a long time. But as bodies change and body events occur, something different was required. On top of all of that, I guess with the travel thing, I was not enjoying it like I did. I just didn't want to travel as much as I did. And that to me kind of seemed a little heretical. I'm not gonna lie, because I was supposed to want that. I like what had happened? Who was I? So there's been a good part of this last couple of years where I've been conflicted about what I truly desire, what my body requires. So, we moved in July of this year, and we've been here, and you've heard me talk about the last few months and my big change and my big demand of myself. And the thing that has gotten only louder is that this business needs to run in a different way. What's interesting about that is there is no answer to that. And I am moving forward as an entrepreneur with that awareness, with a bunch of incredible skill sets, with incredible intangibles, the ability to demand, the ability to show up, the ability to contribute. I've got all of my palette is vibrant. And what's in front of me is a blank canvas. And really until today, I hadn't quite been willing to choose it. And so today's been very vulnerable and powerful and eye-opening and clarifying. And today is the first day I've claimed and chosen our next directions as a family, as a group of business creators, as the leader and CEO of this business. And so you're going to be seeing some changes. Will you really notice them? Likely not. It's still going to be me. Will the way that things are delivered change? Yes. How does it get better than that? Who doesn't love some change? And will it be different? Yes. Okay, cool. So I guess this is just my way of explaining to you what this has been for me, and to also say to you that if you don't listen to you, nobody else can. I don't know what I'm aware of exactly. I have pieces. I've got body pieces. But the body pieces are big pieces. I've got a lot of body pieces, right? Going, okay, this pace is non-sustainable, Miss Crystal. I'm like, I hear you. Just give me a minute. And I got to be willing to choose something different. Give me a minute. So it's taken me a minute to be willing to choose something different. So I got a lot of body pieces. That's big. I also have a huge sense of something big in the universe changing. I have a huge sense of something big in the world changing. I have a huge sense of something big shifting. If you go to the news and things, you can hear conversations about recession. That doesn't seem to be that new. So I could attribute specifics to that sensation, but every time I go to do that, it doesn't create anything. It doesn't make it greater. It solidifies it into a reason, and I don't have a reason. I have a sense of change. And I have my body, and I have the way that I want to live my life. So all of that is informing, okay, so then what are some ways forward that would include my body, include the way that I want to live, include the change that I am in the world and that I want to have in the world, that would include doing something I'm proud of, that would include working with people that I love. What can I choose next? And how could this show up in a way that is greater, easier, and more inclusive of me and my body? And so all of those are questions you can start to ask yourself. It's very easy to get distracted, period. It's very easy to get distracted. It's easy to get distracted on should I stay or should I go with anything, right? With anything, any relationship, situation, business situation, any situation, it's easy to get distracted into a two-choice reality. Should I stay or should I go? A reality beyond a two-choice reality is a reality of infinite choice. And it's a reality of inclusion. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is just inclusion of everything. I love what Access Consciousness says about consciousness. Consciousness includes everything. It doesn't judge anything. And so consciousness includes me. Consciousness includes my body. Consciousness includes what I want to have as my life, not from a judgment, from an inclusion. Consciousness includes the money that I'm willing to have and be. Consciousness includes the change I'm willing to have and be. Consciousness includes my idiosyncrasies, my abnormalities, my humor, my brilliances, my not so brilliances. It's inclusive of all of that. So what would it take for me to function as consciousness and include all of that? I can no longer not include all of that. How does it get better than that? And so it is dynamically changing what I'm aware of I want to put my attention into next, and how that can show up in the world and the form it can take next. Could it change forms again? Of course, it will. So it's easy to get distracted and think that the dissatisfaction you feel is somebody's fault. And in truth, maybe you do need to make big changes in your relationship. Maybe you do need to make big changes in where you live. Maybe you do need to make big changes with your body. The program tomorrow, Create Your Next Year Now, is going to get us looking at all that stuff. Like, and so that you can get more clear. Where is most of your attention required right now? For me, the brunt of my attention is definitely being pulled towards surging forward in the business in a dynamically different way. Like surging, like that's the energy. It's like surge, surge, surge. I'm like, okay, what am I surging with? What do you want me to take with? Like what? Like literally, I am a surfer being informed by the ocean and just trying to stay on the board. And that is freaking me out and exciting me simultaneously and freaking me out. And so what I'm gifting myself is the space to verbalize all the things, and to a partner that is just there with me. He's like, I am here with you. Like, tell me all the things. I'm like, this thing and this thing and this thing. And then a good cry and a rain shower, and then we're past it, you know? Knowing that those things aren't solid and real, and they are just energy, and I am energy, and we can just keep choosing as energy, like, and that I am listening to something that isn't speaking English, but is definitely speaking clearly, and that it is my job to listen and to act, and that the trust that the universe is caring for us, and that we are supported, and that every molecule is in support of us and the consciousness that we are. And so if you don't listen to you, no one else can. And the thing is that what you are listening to can't be defined either. Just that it's speaking, and that you are hearing it, and that you are being compelled or surged or pushed like a wave would push a surfer towards a different shore, or sucked back in to stay on the ocean and like navigate towards a new country. And that's the best way I know how to describe it. So perhaps an exercise would be to notice where you feel disgruntled. Notice where you feel dissatisfied. Notice where you feel frustrated. Notice where you feel tired. those are all indicators that something else is required, and that perhaps sitting and looking at things would contribute something, because you can reinvent yourself no matter what the season is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're further in debt than you've ever been before. It doesn't matter if you have an aging parent and they're losing their head in a way they never have before. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. It's not relevant what's going on the outside of you. What's relevant is you and what you are aware of and what you are capable of choosing and what you want your life to be like. What's life worth living for you? That is very relevant, because you are the source of something that is unique to this planet. And I am the source of something that's unique to this planet. For me to hoard myself is one choice, but that's not the choice that at the end of my life is going to give me joy. What is really going to just throw my fucking socks off is if I get to the end of my life and I look around and all these people have been affected by my way of looking at the world for the greater. That their lives got greater because they came in contact with my life. That thrills me. And then it's going to thrill me for a second, and then I'll leave this body and I'll come into another body and I won't even remember that I was here. And all of that change that those people experienced is not going to be attributed to me anymore. It's going to be integrated into their lives as something they chose and something they know. And so it's not all that significant anyway. Oh gosh. So this is me just sharing me with you. And I'm hopeful that my musings and journey gift you more of you. That's my hope. And if they do, and you want to share that with a friend, that would be such a gift to me. If I can contribute more to you, I am doing a lot of classes this week, and you can find them at crystaljoycrawford.com/calendar. One starts tomorrow, one starts Thursday, one starts Saturday. What is asking of you right now? What is calling to you? What is trying to get your attention? You know, is the message coming through your body? Is it coming through your life? Is it... And I don't mean message that you can write down and necessarily articulate with English. I mean, what is it? What is surging? That maybe you've misidentified and misapplied as, frustration, dissatisfaction, boredom, overwhelm. That if you would sit and pay attention to it, would give you information and would contribute, would lead you forward into what's next. I'm not going to lie, this way of living where you follow the energy takes a lot of courage. There are some days I walk around the house going, what the fuck is this, Joyce? Like, what the fuck, man? This takes more balls. This living thing, following the energy, takes more balls than fucking anything I've ever done in my life. But there is no other way to live for me. And that's the thing you got to look at for you. It's like, is there another way to live besides following the surge? Following what you're aware of? So, join me. Don't join me. Have the reality that you want to have, or don't. Look at when you get to the end, are you going to be happy with what you chose or something else? And would you like to be happy with what you chose? And what is that asking of you now that you can choose? You can reinvent yourself no matter the season, and it just takes pausing, getting present, and asking yourself some really different questions. I'm here for you. I'm here for me. I'm here to, with you, create a reality beyond this one. And I wonder what else we can be, what else we can choose, what else we can do, what else we can have, what else we can receive that would allow that reality to exist here now. If you would like this, comment on it and share it. I would be so grateful. See you in the next conversation.